For the 15th time of the season in the Herr Sprint Series, it is Sprint Series Night in America, and for the second race in a row, it is time for the Dash for Cash. We have 8 drivers going after 4 spots for the Dash for Cash finale at Hillside next week, but we are at Oregon Speedway here tonight, and it's going to be a fun one. 42 laps of action for the Oregon 250. And we'll see what will happen with the points lead, as it is starting to close in a little bit between BP Ruiz and Allison. Well, it is Sprint Series Night in America at Oregon Speedway. Hello everyone, it is Nathan Saban here, and welcome to Oregon Speedway. And for the second week in a row, we are in the Pacific Northwest. Last week we were in Seattle, Washington for a bonus of a Super Speedway race at Digital, and now we are here in Oregon, and now we get to see what will happen here on a track I've never done before. On Digital, I've done once or twice on my channel, but I've never even touched Oregon, so let's see what ends up happening. Should be a very fun race here, and at the end of the race it will be about a second to a second and a half of fall off, so that's going to be very interesting on what ends up happening. But we got Ladova Short back up here in the booth, and welcome to Oregon Speedway.
Hello.
So obviously, we've done 15 races. We're getting closer and closer to the halfway point of the season already, and it's been all out in a row for the most part. But this is Oregon, and this is kind of a Super Speedway-esque mile and a half, at least during the first few laps while the tires are still new. But we got the Dash for Cash in the midst as well, between Nathan Lajaboy, Garrett Sendoska, Aaron Abel, BP Ruiz, Alexander Rowe, Hallie Anderson Jr., Sammy Camara, and Alexa Selsbin. How do you think that's going to all shake out here for 42 laps?
Well, I think we're going to see two different races from two different people. People who are not in the Dash for Cash, they're just going to try to get a good result, except for, I think, Matt Black starting first. He's going to push. He's going to push, trying to lower that points gap between him and Alexander Rowe. It's only 38 points, so if he has a good result and Alexander Rowe doesn't, it could very much slower today. But except for, with the exception of Matt Black, I think everybody will sort of take it easy, avoid wrecking, because that could become an issue. It's a track that is somewhat conducive to those types of events. And for the drivers who are in the Dash for Cash, I mean, they're all going to push, especially those starting on the outside line in Aaron Abel, Alexis Salspin, Sammy Camara, Baby Riz, who are starting quite farther back in the field. They're going to try to push to make their way forward. It's going to be pretty hard with Alexander Rowe starting third on the inside. Yeah, I think we're going to see really two different races from two different types of people, I guess.
And I couldn't agree more. You got some drivers that are not in the Dash for Cash, like Matt Blatt, who are just trying to catch up to Alexander Rowe. But then you got drivers like BP Ruiz, Aaron Abel, Alexander Rowe, Hallie Anderson Jr., and it's kind of ironic that 4 out of the top 5 in points are in the Dash for Cash still, and they've been some of the best drivers this season for a reason, and they are in the Dash for Cash. But it's gonna be interesting on what ends up happening here for the first ever race I've ever done at Oregon Speedway. But it is still Alexander Rowe as the point leader, even with the 2 Super Speedways back to back of Digital and Talladega the last 2 weeks. He still has a 19-point lead over BP Ruiz in second. Matt Black is in third, minus 38. Hallie Anderson Jr. is in fourth, minus 40. Aaron Abel is in fifth, minus 51. Andrew Williams is in sixth, minus 55. Chase McClure is in seventh, minus 57. Jay Wibbleton is in eighth, minus 61. Campbell Mosher is in ninth, minus 73. And then running out the top 10 is Carson Miller, 74 points behind. And we're only 14 races in, but we are really starting to see top 5 start to pull away from everyone else, and we'll see what ends up happening here in this one. And on the pole is number 87 of Matt Blatt, trying to get his second win on the season. And alongside the number 88 is Joshua Neely. Well, number 2 is the 69, not Matt Blatt, but is Alexander Roll this week, and the 96 of Hallie Anderson Jr. Well, number 3 is Garrett Sandoska and the 02 of Nathan Aljaboye. Well, number 4 is number 1 of Dylan Stanley and the 56 of J.R. Littleton, the number 4 of Andrew Williams, and the number 99 of Corey Case, the number 82 of Carson Miller, and the 39 of Campbell Marsh, the 98 of Alexis Selspin, and the 97 of Sammy Camara, a all-NS Racing World White Fair, B.P. Ruiz and Matthew Hall, the 57 and 90 respectively, the 50 of Chase McClure, and the 37 of Ann Abel, the 93 of Trey Smith, and then the final 5 drivers are drivers that are all returning here that have previously ran the race. The number 3 of Samantha Oskin, the 05 is Zane Davidson here today, the 81 of Mike Lewis is back, the 52 of Alan Lutz, and then the 64 of Kyle Craven. He's made only one other start this season, and he is last in points out of everyone. So we'll see what that car can do. Of course, that car of Chris Mills won last week and finally got Ladova's first win of the Sprint Series this season. And we'll see what happens. Every team has a win this season up to this point. I mean, we are only 14 races in. The Dash for Cash, the Championship, and everything else in between. And then we have 42 laps around Oregon Speedway. Gonna put you on the spot of Ladova. Who do you think will win here today?
I'm gonna go for the anti-jinx. My car. The 88. Joshua Neely. Starting on the outside, you know. It's not a terrible spot to start in, and I think we're gonna see quite a chaotic race day. So I would expect my car starting up front to have a good chance and maybe avoid any tomfoolery that could happen further down the field.
Not a bad pit. This AA has been close to winning a few times with multiple drivers, and we'll see what Joshua Neely can do in that car here today. And we'll see what Alexander Will can do in the 69. But the driver that's normally in that car of Matt Black is on the pole, and we'll see if who ends up making it. The top 4 between Aljaboye, Sandoska, Abel, Ruiz, Woe, Hallie Anderson Jr., Camara, and Alexis Selspin. The top 4 of those 4, or the top 4 of those 8, I should say. We'll move on to the finale of the Dash for Cash next week at Hillside. But these drivers are all worried about getting a race win here at Oregon Speedway. And for the 15th time of the season, we have Green Flag Racing for the Oregon 250 at Oregon Speedway. A great first lap from the top 2 of Matt Black and Alexander Roll, but this is a little bit odd for Matt Black because he's normally in the 69, but he's getting passed by it. And this week, that is Alexander Roll, the point leader, going to the point, but look at Dylan Stanley even all over the back bumper. And it's going to be interesting of how this plays out, because there's about a second to fall off, but that really takes it into effect the second half of this race. So this first half is really getting all the track position for the second half, but Alexander Roll led lap number 1 and 2, and now here comes Stanley even to the inside.
I'll say 42 laps is quite long for the sprint series, so I think those guys are falling to the back of the field at the beginning of the race, being stuck on that outside lane. We'll have quite a long time to come back up the order, so I wouldn't worry too much about that for them. But I will say, man, that outside lane looks really weak today, and usually that's a bad sign when when the tire starts to go out in terms of anyone wanting to make overtakes.
Yeah, normally it's the outside lane in testing, and in testing it was a lot of side-by-side racing, but oh boy, this could be a little bit sketchy. Alexander Rowe almost got into the inside of Dylan Steele even. Here comes Carson Miller to the inside. Alessa Selspin in the number 98 is on the move. And this is going to be a lot of give and take here, and we have to be very careful on 3 wide. Because based off of what I saw in testing 3 wide, it was very dangerous. And we almost saw it there with Alexander Rowe a couple of laps ago. Carson Miller, he's been quiet this season. 10 starts, 14 starts, 3 top 5s, and 5 top 10s. 2 poles, but do not have a win yet. And oh boy, Dylan Steele even's gonna try making it 3 wide through the middle, but not quite. And right now, it is a cycle race here at Oregon Speedway.
Yes, it is a cycle race. I don't think that's gonna last, just because of the tire wear. But it's a good thing that it's a cycle race for all of these guys, because currently they're sort of in a position where if they try to conserve their position, they would just eat up their tires, and then it could become harder for them to defend later on in the race. So I don't think it's bad. I think starting maybe from lap 10 is you should try a bit to defend, just because you're not gonna have a great track position once the tire really starts to kick in. But yes, it's gonna be interesting. Hey, it's almost a complete flip of the starting grid now. A lot of these guys that were starting at the back now are pretty far up ahead.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting on how the tire affects these drivers here, especially later on in the one. I will say, apologies for the dogs. As of this recording, my mother is out shopping, so I apologize for that. But the number 97, Sammy Camaro, one of the 8 drivers in the Dash for Cash, is going for the race lead, and he's going to take it. Chase McClure in the number 50, 7th in the point standings. Mania 1 on the inside, the 93 of Trey Smith. He's been all over the place this season with Wise, but he's still not had luck. He's one of the lowest drivers in points that's done the majority of the starts this season. And it's been a rough season for that number 93. Here comes Chase McClure to the inside of the 97. But it looks like it was Sammy Camaro that led that lap. And it's gonna be interesting what ends up happening, as we might see 3 wide for the lead, and we all Trey Smith side by side, making it 3 wide for the lead, and this could be a little bit sketchy in turns 3 and 4.
Hey, they need to be careful, because if they don't dissipate quickly, then they're gonna stay 3 wide for a long time, because it's at the front of the pack. So if really, oh my, this isn't good. I think that 50 needs to lift off.
Oh yeah, he definitely needs to lift, but he's not going to. He's in the middle of 3 wide. This is really close. He's gonna get a good one off of turn 2. Squeezing. He's trying to make that middle work here. Side by side, multiple rows deep. And look at Chase McClure's making that middle work, actually. And look at that, he's almost going to lose that lap. That is crazy stuff. And this is basically like Atlanta in real life, but a little bit more tire here. The 05 of Travis' team is going to take the race lead. That is St. Jason here today, and here comes the Draconian Racing cars, the 81 and the 3. Making a move on the inside together. And here's last week's winner, Lord Driver, or not Lord Driver, we'll call that one finally last week, and became the 12th different team to win. That's a oh boy, Chase McClure. That was almost bad into turn number 1.
Yeah, it's I mean, you can see here that Chase McClure is able to really stay up front, which is really bad if you're trying to avoid a wreck. But yeah, he's able to stay up front really, because this track is pretty tight, at least in terms of the realistic racing surface. You're not gonna go all the way up there to the wall, because that would be racing suicide. But yeah, you can see it. So it's very easy to side draft, and he's taking advantage of it. But there's moments where there was a gap just behind him, and he could have left it off and went into that gap on the inside lane and got in a good position out of it. But he didn't, and now he's still stuck on the outside and has lost quite a bit of positions and is still under threat of wrecking. Oh, but there you go. I think he managed to get out of that situation finally.
Yeah, that was about 5-6 laps of being stuck in the middle of the wide. He was making it work, but that was very, really sketchy and about wet himself entering turn 1. The number 90 of Matthew Hall running out front. And Matthew Hall does have a couple of race victories this season, 2 of them. And trying to get a third, Michael Lewis in the number 81. And Cement Oskin in the number 3. And I think we are seeing that point where these tires are falling off a little bit now, as they are really starting to get semi-spread out here. Hall out front, and then Michael Lewis and Cement Oskin and Abel in the 4th position. Cameron Mosh almost putting Abel in a 3-wide situation. And this is where Tyler is taking a effect here, and Oskin is going to go for 2nd, and now Campbell Mosh needs a good one. Been struggling the last few weeks ever since the short track swing at South Boston and Bristol, and they continue with the Super Speedway stretches as well. So that 39 of Mosh needs a good one, and right now inside the top 5.
Yes, that quasi wreck that we had a few laps ago really split off the top 3 ahead. And they're profiting for it, and it's a good job for them. I'll say that the 90 Matthew Hall, I think he's in a great position, because even if he gets attacked at this point, the field coming back on him will still take quite a few laps to come back to again. And they're sort of cycling at the front, but they're not cycling at the back in that massive pack. So that's quite an indication of the tire wear just starting to take effect, and now they're going 3 wide again, and oh no. With the tire wear becoming more and more visible, I'm not sure if going 3 wide is a better call, because you can slide up the outside and get caught in a car. So I really think that 13 is in deep trouble right now and needs to get to the inside ASAP.
Oh yeah, Zendoska not in a good spot, especially for the Dash for Cash and trying to finish inside the top 4. Unfortunately, back there in that green number 99, Corey Case is loose in the draft, and that's not good. Zendoska was cut up and clear, but that was close in turns 3 and 4. I don't know if we're gonna stay green for this last 21 laps, because we've been really tight with these 3 wide situations. 21 laps down, 21 to go here in the sprint series, and it is still very tight back here between Zendoska and the 52 of Aaron Lutz, and the 88 as well. I don't know if we're going to keep it straight here, as that is very, very tight. Like I said, not a lot of racing room. It's barely wide enough for the 3 wide for the lanes. Now about Aaron Abel up front. He's done 13 out of the 14 starts, and this is start 14, and even with him missing 1 race, he's still inside the top 5 in points. So still a good season for that 37 team, and he might have a shot at this race lead. But it's all Matthew Hall trying to get win number 3 on the season here today.
Yes, and now you're starting to see really the drivers who are at the front coming back to the front after going to the back in that sort of cycle beginning of the race. And now here's the moment where we're really going to see if they're able to stay in a situation where they're not shuffled to the outside. Then they have clearly pace to win today, and those are the cars that started up front and that are coming back from the oh my goodness, they're going 3 wide again. That's not good. they need to stop. But yes, they really, if the drivers that are coming from the back that were at the front at the beginning of the race, if they're able to stay in this inside lane and work their way through, that's really the cars that you're gonna want to watch for the race lead, as we have just passed halfway a few laps ago.
Just past halfway, and you know who wants a caution? There's only one driver that wants a caution, and that's Cody Cates. I don't know what happened to the 99. I think he just lost the draft, and that's unfortunate for him. He's had a up and down season for him. Does have a win, but other than that, it's been kind of a struggle. But you know who might end up getting this race win, and it might be this 90 of Matthew Hall. Definitely has a long one in car and definitely managing the tires well. Michael Lewis in the 81 definitely doing a good job as well. Hallie Anderson Jr. in the 96 going for the dash for cash. And the 56 of J.O. Littleton. Not really said his name yet here in this one. And he's gonna fall in from behind, and this is nice. We finally get a little bit of a break of 3 wide action. I probably just jinxed it, but it's definitely gonna be interesting what ends up happening. Tyler is affecting these guys, and it's not as much of a cycle. Mike Lewis is trying to close in to our race leader Matthew Hall, but right now Matthew Hall might get the number 3 on the season here today. As yep, I staple jinxed it. Here we go. Jay able to make it 3 wide for third. Oh my goodness! Cameron Marshall up the racetrack from Hallie Anderson Jr.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be very hard for Lewis to come back to Hall without some sort of help from anyone. So I think I think he's wishing that the pack catches him, but maybe like on lap 38 to 40. Because if they catch him before, then it's over. He's gonna get shuffled at some point on the outside, and he's gonna lose any chance at winning this. They're not really making any gains though, or at least not very quickly. So I think he might be feeling good currently about his chances at a win. But if you're Matthew Hall, I think you're quite happy about this. You're leading the race too, and except if something happens, you're at least in a good position to have a top 5, which 12th in points with 3 laps, 3 races less than most people in the field. It's really something that you need if you want to have a chance at the title. But here we go, the 81, just caught back to the bumper of the 80 of the 90, pardon me, and now there's another car, the 56 of G.R. Ribbleton, caught up to them.
Oh boy, J.R. Ribbleton with a good one off turn 4 last night by, and well, this is kind of what everyone wanted, but it's not at the same time. The pack has caught back up, and unfortunately, he's going to be a victim of it as J.R. Ribbleton going to the inside. The top 3 drivers are not in the dash for cash. Chase McClure is not. The 87 of Matt Black is not. The 52 of Van Loos is not. But the first one that is Alex Sandoval in the number 69. Sammy Camara in the 97 is up here. Same with the 96 of Hallie Anderson Jr. And then I think the 4th one as of now would be Aaron Abel in the number 37. So that is a key thing to look out for. As we have 10 laps to go, it is still all Matthew Hall. But Michael Lewis is not done for the 2nd place spot.
If Alexander Rowe manages to stay to the inside, and I'm not, well, as I say that, he looks like he might lose the inside lane, but if he manages to stay on the inside, he's really one of the car, well, if not the car to watch, because he's just been able to clinch those victories this season, and it's quite impressive. Well, now he's on the outside, so let's talk about something else, because he probably won't win this. No, but yes, at this point, I'll say, if you're outside the top 10, you don't really have a shot at a win. But if you're inside the top 10, considering how they seem to be more cycling now in the past few couple of laps, it's again after a few laps of break, now it's really the chance that you have to go and take that race lead. The 87 of Matt Black, pole sitter. He's back again here in the top 4, and he might be in a good position. As I say that, he's getting past, man. I'm instant jinxing people here.
The commentators jinxed us on the left side here today, and unfortunately, there goes Matt Blatt on the outside lane. And you know what? I think Caleb might be happy about this. We might see a 1-2 finish for Appalachia Racing here today, as Jason McClure making a move on the inside lane. Matthew Hall still in the race lead, trying to get win number 3 on the season. and become the second driver to have the second most wins, only behind Alexander Lowe. And no one's been able to really challenge him. I think this 56 got a great one off turn number 2 and get clear. Joe Rippleton might have a shot here, but no one's had a shot ever since Hall took the race lead.
And I'll say this: this outside lane seems to be working now. It seems like even except if there was a car right behind a car that's overtaking you, that outside lane can work with that heavy tire wear. So that means that Matt Black he's back in it. I didn't actually check him. That's good. But yes, it's gonna make the racing very interesting. But it's gonna make it even harder for anyone to go challenge Hall for the race lead. And we're coming now to 5 laps to go. And with a pretty big margin between first and second, it's gonna be very hard for those people who are not in that 3-pack from second to fourth to go and challenge for that race lead. Maybe the 97 and the 50 can do it, but it's gonna be between one of those top 5, I think, today.
Oh yeah, I think if it's not Matthew Hall, it might be Matt Black, and it could be maybe the 97, the 50's gonna go up the racetrack. Might have to watch out for Matt Black, the poster, trying to get win number 2 and trying to gain on Alexander for the championship. And this is the closest that it has been ever since Matthew Hall took the race lead, but he's gonna get a good one off of turn 4, and Matt Black got a bad one off turn 4. We'll put them back to the inside. Here comes Sammy Camilla out of nowhere in the number 97. The first car, the highest dash for cash driver is that 97 of Sammy Camilla. And then I believe Aaron April and Alexander Rowe as well. And I believe it's still the 96 of Hallie Manson Jr. And it's going to be 2 laps to go. And look at Sammy Camilla make it the lead alive for second here.
Well, that means it's gonna be very hard to go take first now. But I guess they're all settling for second, which isn't a bad result. But it's I mean it's if you're the 97, I get it. You're desperate. You wanna win. But if you're if you're the 56 now, you have 1 lap to catch up basically 3/10. It's going to be very hard, except if there's a great run-off turn 2.
It might not be done, but ever since Matthew Hall took the race to lead, it's been all him. And it looks like these drivers have settled it amongst themselves to battle for the second place spot. As Camilla back to the inside. It's going to be close up here. They're going to slide up the racetrack. Going to be a battle for second. As it's going to be the 56 getting second, and how about Matthew Hall win number 3 on the season in the Sprint Series. Wait, job well done, and then 1 more lap. Maybe Jerry Wilburton would have had something, but Matthew Hall dominated this one amongst all the cycling that we saw and the tire. Once we got around lap 15, lap 20, that 90 took the lead and never took it away. What a job well done for Matthew Hall. Win number 3 on the season.
Yeah, that almost wreck, that moment that we saw there, is really what sealed the win for him. The tire was already sort of starting to get in effect, so he was already in a good position. But that moment really separated the field and gave him the advance that he needed to go take this win.
Absolutely, and this race from caution free, but oh my goodness, there was some very close calls of 3 wide, especially as the tires kept on wailing out, and we almost went a couple times on that final lap, but luckily a second caution-free dash for cash race in a row, but a very enjoyable one, as Matthew Hall gets the race win, Jay Wilburton in second, Sammy Camilla in third, Michael Lewis in fourth, and Matt Black on outside the top 5, Chase McClure, Summit Oskin, Dylan Stanley, even Alexander Rowe with another top 10. That is his 10th top 10 on the, And then Tway Smith rounds out the top 10. Great one from Tway Smith. He's struggled this year, like I said. 17th from the point standings, and he's going to get his 5th top 10 on the season. And I believe the drivers that would be in the final four for the Dash for Cash should be Sammy Camara in the 97. Alexander in the 69. Aaron Abel in the 37. And Alexis Selspin in the 98. I believe just barely got the fourth spot over Helen Amanda Jr. by 6/1000ths of a second. So that was very close right there. And then, yeah, the 02 Algebra Boy right there. And then BB Ruiz. And then, of course, Sendoska. So I believe that is the final four for the Dash for Cash of Camara, Lowe, Abel, and Selspin. Whew. Well, what's the final thoughts on that one? A caution-free race, dominant one for Matthew Hall. And for number 3 on the season for Matthew Hall here in the Husband Series.
Well, it's gonna really restart the championship, at least for second place. Alexander Rowe, he's gonna be he's gonna have a more comfortable lead coming out of here, I think, except if Mike Black takes second, but I don't know if he will. But yeah, the battle for second place will be the thing to watch out next race, because the good result for Mike Black, bad result for BB Ruiz, and that battle's up again. But Alexander Rowe just dominating the season. Didn't win today, but he still got a top 10. His 10th top 10 of the season. Matthew Hall, he's 13th in points, so he really needed that one, especially with those 3 stars that he missed. And yes, otherwise, it's an interesting one. We've had a very clean racing, very good racing these past 3 races, and I'm very excited to what the Dash for Cash finale will. Well, is it the finale next week, or is it the?
Yes, it's the finale after
Hillside
next week.
Yes. Yes, I'm very excited to see what the finale will bring.
Yeah, I'm also very excited. Hillside, I've never done that track before, and we'll see what ends up happening. But Oregon's, but yeah, that track's really good. Just look at, I believe, the 2020 Chick-fil-A Cup Series race. Just look at that one, where Shane Lake won. But Hillside next week, the final 4 for the Dash for Cash, and that will be the 16th race of the season, and I think that might be the halfway point of the season as well. So, already almost halfway through the season, and it's been the Alexander Rowe Show with 10 top 10s in 15 races. And we'll see what happens at Hillside next week. Signups for that will go up tomorrow night at 7:30, and then Hillside race 16 and race 3 of the Dash for Cash will go up next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And with that being said, the points will be at the end of the video. Congratulations to Matthew All on the race win. And we will see you guys at Hillside next week, the race 16 of the season.